What would you do if this were your last year to live? When I asked myself this question January of last year, 2024, I had big plans, a book, a planner, daily moments with a family. So I divided my answers into two lists: things that needed resources and things that just needed my well being. I was very sure about the book, but here's what I learned about well being: 2024 wasn't the most consistent for me. There were days when time moved differently for me, when my body felt distant from itself, when the simplest actions required immense deliberate effort. These weren't just moments of losing focus, they were hours or days of existing in a different layer of reality. The dread was actually piling up last year, so with my wife's encouragement, I went back to counseling as a client, just to be clear. And here's the thing: it helped me understand myself better, the unique parts of my history, and the things that I used to actually be in or feel, but I didn't really know it was a feeling. I learned something through all of this. Healing isn't just about fixing what's broken, it's about understanding the story that each crack actually tells. I look back at 2024 and I'm convinced that two things matter the most for the rest of my life: Shalom, God's complete wholeness that encompasses every broken and beautiful part of us, and the profound gift of being human, with all its messiness and dignity. They're not just concepts, they're the very air we breathe when we're fully alive. So here we are, actually just starting 2025 for me. Sometimes the bravest thing we can do is simply start right where we are, not waiting for the perfect timing or the perfect wellness. One small sip at a time. And maybe, just maybe, you're watching this video and you're thinking, oh, I have to start something for myself. Maybe that's not the point for you this year. Maybe just starting to recognize what's happening within you and around you is where you can start. And that's where I basically started for the year. So approaching the latter part of November last year, I figured I was in a way better state, not a perfect state, but I was in a way better state. My well-being was more consistent at that time. So I thought to myself, maybe it's time to actually start. Maybe it's time to really just do something small. And I look back to my list. I had to look for it because I lost the actual pad paper where I used to write those things. I left it somewhere, and I was actually really concerned if my private information was there, but I figured it wasn't there. And interestingly, I found a copy of that list from my archive messages for my wife. So I looked up Messenger and I saw it. Good thing it was there. I looked at the list and I realized I can actually start to do something from this list, even just one. I mean, I spent time with my family. That was one of the easiest things. It's not easy actually when you don't make it a priority, but it became simple for us because we made it a value for ourselves. Sometimes it actually gets difficult, especially when there's lots of demands at work for both of us, and so you just have to fight for it. But yeah, latter part of November, I decided to just really make it, and I started talking to a good friend who actually knows how to design, and probably I was thinking maybe we can partner and we can help each other release this. And then he had a friend also who happens to be a common friend who was interested to help out. So fast forward, we got to release the journal, I think in the first week of December. And this is the journal. And I hope that instead of this being a pressure for you watching, I hope that this becomes something that inspires you to just find out for yourself how you can start taking steps, simple steps of finding wellness for yourself. becoming well, becoming better. Don't force yourself to be perfectly well right away, but just think of steps of even just one step. What can I do? What can who are the available resources that I can actually take simple steps to becoming better, to be well. And the reason why I I highlight that is because it wasn't about deciding to do this that made me do this finally. It was months back when I decided to agree with my wife that yes, I needed counseling. And that was what actually led me to the latter part of November, which I felt like, okay, I feel like I'm more consistent now. I feel like uh, I wake up better each day already. So that was the deciding factor of finally finding something that I can start, even just small. And yeah, this one is what I made. And uh, this is different from all the other journals because what I was really going for is that this will be a trauma informed journal, that it would be more sensitive uh, to not induce anxiety for you, uh, to not induce anxiety for me. Because when I open a notebook, it feels like if there are many prompts, I feel like, just for me, okay, I feel like I'm missing out if I wasn't able to do something from those prompts, or if I'm not able to find something to actually fill in for those prompts. And so I felt like, okay, maybe a trauma informed journal for those who are experiencing that anxiety inducing moment when they open a journal with a lot of prompts. So this one has like a lot of blank pages, but I made sure to actually have guides. I'd like to end this video by saying that I made this journal for you who actually can relate with me, that you need a trauma informed notebook or journal. But to be honest, the reason why I only started posting videos this February is because January was also very exhausting for me. I'm gonna talk about it in my next video. And it felt like January was just a trial month, and it was really long. A lot of sicknesses, a lot of overwhelming ideas and thoughts, and even overwhelming tasks from work. And what what I thought I made for others to help them in their journey turned out to be something that actually helped me. Right now, I'm just happy using it. I'm just not just happy, but at the same time comforted with the idea that this turned out to be very useful for me when my body signals it to sip well. So yes, I've been actually more consistent in making coffee for me in the morning. I wake up at 6 a.m. every Monday to Friday to cook lunch for our kids. And then I drive them to school after that. But I make sure that I have a cup of coffee for myself while waiting for the rice to be cooked, while waiting for my kids to wake up. And so I have that moment. I'm just sipping well. And many times, actually, in the morning, this window right here has a really good sight of the sunrise reflecting on the wall. And so I sometimes open that just to see that, just to have that sight while I sip my cup of coffee. So this is not a trigger to pressure yourself to start doing something this year. This is actually a gentle invitation to start considering giving ourselves a little more kindness, and see which part of ourselves, of our lives, do I need to pay attention to. Because it really will turn out to be better for us. And I hope that you find your moments of sipping well. And I've also written a lot of these things in my newsletter. You can actually subscribe to the email list. The link is in the description and the pinned comment. I'm gonna see you in the next video.